Welcome to part two of Roar Out of Zion. Yes, let us trumpet out of Zion. July the 17th, 2024 by man's calendar. And I know I won't be getting these up until the 18th, likely so. Because it's late. But, um, in recording them, but I want to get them up. And I want you to see what's happening. And I told you already that they are practicing idol worship. So let's get on into this video. We were talking about the snipers on the rooftop and how good of a marksman they are trained professional snipers. Could pick the wings off of a gnat's back and leave the gnat living to tell the tale of what happened to it. And you expect me to believe that an untrained boy went up there and clipped Trump's ear and only killed one other person? He fired 8 shots. Right. When the snipers weren't even up there to take him out, they were in the building. And he only fired 8 shots. Okay.
They only had 2 counter snipers for the rally, 2, and they had to farm out the rest of the protection to local stringers. The Secret Service Director, Cheadle, said the assassin's rooftop was a vulnerability, but they decided to place counter snipers inside the building instead. Here's why.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
We have American snipers shooting from caves, cliffs, mountaintops, but they can't handle a sloped roof. She put counter snipers behind Trump on a roof that was even more sloped. Look at that. The sloped roof excuse is a hoax. What good are counter snipers inside a building if they can't see an assassin scale the building? The roof wasn't too dangerous for the assassin. He didn't slide off. He got 8 shots off. CNN reports.
They're calling this untrained boy an assassin, and now he's scaling buildings. Boy, he's Spider-Man. He scaled a building from the outside because the watch guys, the police and whatnot, was inside watching for him. Wow. So he scaled a building from the outside onto a sloped roof, and him an untrained professional. And he sniped out Trump's ear and killed one other man, and that was it. And him, an untrained professional who just scaled a building and unlikely was not tired because he was able to get 8 shots off. And him untrained. Wow. Okay. The story just keeps getting better and better. I tell you what, the writer for this should write for Hollywood.
They didn't even have drones in the sky. Emma's birthday party had a drone. And I don't have a $3 billion budget like Cheadle. But never mind the drone. The shooter was spotted acting suspicious by men on the ground a half an hour before he opened fire. Sources tell Fox the shooter was seen with a rangefinder casing the stage. CNN says he locked eyes with one of the snipers through the rangefinder. Multiple reports say authorities were radioing the Secret Service about a suspicious individual, even sending pictures of him. And nothing was done about it. And they let Trump take the stage and remain on it. How does the Secret Service get outfoxed for half an hour by a kid with no military training? CBS reports Crooks disappeared and was later seen with a backpack. And the story keeps changing about the latter. Now the media is reporting that crooks used an air conditioning unit to hop atop the 12-foot building. So where's the 5-foot ladder that he says he...
The crooks used a ladder. Who's the crooks? There was no second shooter. That's what they're saying. So this untrained boy brought a 5-foot ladder and scaled a building with it and never got noticed at all. No, I'm not going to notice a boy packing a 5-foot ladder with a backpack with a sniper rifle hanging out the backpack. No, I would never notice that. And yes, I know you can break them down and put them together. But this is an untrained boy. What is the likelihood he gonna bring a professional gun that he gonna have to assemble on a sloped roof that he just had to scale the building of? See, the story just keeps getting better and better. We all know this was done by a professional shooter. Let's not be ignorant. That man that died was collateral damage for them to pull off their hoax. And the truth is, left and right in it together. Left and right in it together, not separate. These are the powers that be. They were in this together. The man jumps up after being winged in the ear, not knowing if there was a second shooter screaming, "Fight, fight, fight." No one does that. But you want me to believe this well-aged man, what is he, in his 70s now, jumps up after being shot in the ear, screaming, "Fight." He knew there was no second shooter because this was all planned. Y'all need to use some common sense. How did he know? Because he was in on the plan. They got their little earbuds in. They talk to each other. They know what they're doing. This was all planned. When y'all gonna get that? And even the left is playing their part right along with the right. And now you hear all these stories about how the left wanted him took out and stuff. These actors crawling out of the woodworks saying take him out and different things like that. Yeah, that's the 666 system right there. All playing their part together. Because they don't want you to know who the Antichrist is. Yet. Because they want you to follow this out. They want you to love this man and worship him like your Savior. And you do. Instead of asking for Jesus to come and rule over you, you have asked for a man. I've heard many preachers preach that years ago, man, instead of wanting God to rule over them, wanted a man. So God gave them what they wanted. But it ended up being a tyrant. You shall have your king to set rule over you. And it certainly isn't a godly person. No, that's not who you're asking for. You're not asking for a godly person. You're asking for someone who can keep money in your pocket and can keep you and your stuff together. That's what you're asking for. Remember that.
And were police wearing body cams? Because we'd like to see those. CNN said he drove his Hyundai
No,
Sonata
that
and
wasn't
parked
in
it
the
outside
budget.
the rally. So Why did they tow away a big conversion van? How does a soft civilian with a rifle get on the roof of a Secret Service watch post and almost murder the president? We're also learning tonight that Crooks's father called 911 just after Trump got shot. How did the dad immediately know his son was the shooter? And why did the Secret Service announce Crooks acted alone before they'd accessed his phone? How'd they know? We hear they're in his phone now, but they're not telling us anything. The assassin didn't text, didn't email, didn't have calls from anybody, had no Google search history, no social media footprint. Come on. The FBI covered up the trans shooter's motive, never ID'd the Vegas massacre motive, and called to Fort Hood.
He is a 20-year-old male with no prior reports, and he's untrained, and apparently he had a 5-foot ladder hidden in his backpack along with a scope rifle that he had to assemble on a sloped roof. And he scaled a building like Spider-Man with his 5-foot ladder, which apparently he put back in his backpack because they couldn't find it, I guess. And he got his scope out and put it together on a sloped roof, and no one noticed him for a half an hour, and he got off 8 shots, which they seemed to think was fireworks. Okie dokie. Boy.
Shooting workplace violence. You think we're going to get a straight answer here? With all these mysterious failures, Biden says he still has confidence in Cheadle, but doesn't know Cheadle's a woman.
Is it acceptable that you have still not heard, at least publicly, from the Secret Service director?
Oh, I've heard from him.
Have you heard from her publicly?
Publicly, I've sat down in a situation room downstairs. The Secret Service, the FBI, the national security agencies, the Homeland Security, all the major elements.
Sources close to the Biden family says Cheadle was well liked by Dr. Jill after serving on her security detail, and that's how she got the job. This is your typical Biden family affair. Obama's Secret Service director resigned when a man with a knife jumped the White House fence. So is Cheadle just staying around to cover this up? We only get answers when she's out. And just breaking now, Dan Bongino reporting that Secret Service agents have been warned that if they want to keep their jobs, they'll keep their mouths shut. But instead of investigating, the FBI's warning that Trump supporters are a threat. The Bureau says Trump supporters will probably avenge the assassination attempt and shoot somebody. Another Whitmer kidnapping setup? We don't know. The minute we stop asking questions, they win. Executive VP of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump's here. Eric, did you notice your dad a little changed last night?
Yeah, there's no question. There was a humbleness. And, it's honestly, if you're...
Oh, my Lord. No question there's a humbleness. Look who we're trusting for that information. Oh, the son of the devil. Anyway, oh, Lord, the words are just... Is there any common sense left in the world today? And let's not be taken and going and trying to plan no revenge, righties. Because listen, that's not what Jesus told you to do. He said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I will repay. And if you take the vengeance into your own hands, you're going to put yourself in the line of fire with the Lord. You best leave it alone. Because you are under a strong delusion right now, and they are twisting this with the media even, just how they want it to be. You ain't listening to Jesus. You ain't listening to what he told you to do. Because you're worried about whether you're going to get the person back in that's going to protect the money in your pocket. I'll see you in the next part.